southwest Costa Rica. 1939. Workers with the United Fruit Company begin clearing the rainforest near the Diquest Delta for a new banana plantation. While making their way through the dense vegetation, the workmen find dozens of giant stone spheres.
They started to find these massive stone spheres that they had no clue why they were there. The instruction for them was, if you find anything, just move it. And they just started to move them. But they just kept appearing.
In 1943, the archaeological journal American Antiquity published photos of the mysterious spheres, which caught the attention of American archaeologist Dr. Samuel Lothrop. 5 years later, Dr. Lothrop led an excavation of the area and discovered hundreds of stone spheres. They range in size from just a few inches to more than 6 feet in diameter and weigh up to 15 tons. Archaeologists soon discovered stone spheres throughout the Diquest Delta and on the nearby Isla del Caño. Many were found with artifacts from the ancient indigenous Diquest culture and are believed to be at least 1,000 years old.
About 300 have been discovered so far. Some of them are fairly small, like the size of footballs. Others are huge, between 8 and 9 feet tall and wide. Some have carvings on, like spirals, and what looks like boats or ships. They look like they're created in a machine.
Researchers believe the stone that the spheres are carved from is not local to the Diquest Delta, but was transported from a quarry that was located more than 50 miles away.
The quarries of this material are allegedly found at least a few dozen kilometers from the site where the spheres are located. So that brings us questions of transportation. Walking around the rainforest is not an easy task. You'll have creeks, you'll have mountains, you'll have hills, you have branches, you have tree roots. So how were they moved?
Just as puzzling as how the massive objects were moved is how they were made. Archaeologists believe that the Diquest civilization carved the spheres with simple stone tools. But some researchers argue that creating such a precise shape would be difficult to achieve, even with today's technology.
It's important to note that these are, in some reports, granitic, which are very, very hard rocks to shape, to form, to move, and to quarry in any capacity. If we wanted to make these same spheres, we would need something harder than granite, and there are very few substances that are harder.
What's noteworthy is some of them are almost perfectly spherical, and that's a very tall task to create that with the tools of the time. As a stonemason, I would use diamond saws, I would use polishing items, but when you look at indigenous people that were purported to have made them, did they have those machines? Did they have that equipment? Did they have that technology?
How could a culture that only had access to stone chisels and rudimentary tools have carved and transported such enormous stone spheres? And what could have been their reason for doing so?
Since the United Fruit Company started moving the spheres, we do not know the original location of most of them. You start to wonder, what if we could go back in time and see the exact location of all the spheres? What would they show? Would they show a pattern? Would they show a constellation map? Would they be like the Nazca lines, like a pattern that you could only see from above?
Although documentation to explain the spheres does not exist, according to local legend, they were created by the gods.
One very interesting explanation for the Costa Rica spheres is that they were created by Tara, the god of thunder, who used some sort of a blowpipe to shoot these spheres out of the pipe in order to push back hurricanes. Ancient astronaut theory says that within legends like this, there's often a kernel of truth. And so you have to wonder, is this a calling card from some extraterrestrial entity, a sky god, Tara, with some sort of message? To me,
The ancient legend of the god of thunder illustrates an example of misunderstood technology. Clearly, those spheres themselves never descended from the sky, but maybe our ancestors saw the appearance of a spherical craft by the extraterrestrials who visited us thousands of years ago.